So let's do a quick prayer. Father that art in heaven, thanks for this opportunity to be here once again with friends from both sides, with the objective to wrap up this first part of the study of the Medium's book, asking your strength to continue this endeavor, to help perhaps many more to come, and ourselves. Be with us through this exercise today and always. So be it.
So be it.
Amen.
Munir, can you share the book?
Yes, I'll do that.
It's not working for me. Let me increase that here. I can see better. So, as per Munir comments, you guys were discussing a lot about a spiritualist. And I would like to start first to know your impressions of it. What is spiritualist? What is spiritualism? Would you care to make some comments? By the silence, I guess the answer is no. You don't want to make a comment, right?
I can say something, but doesn't mean it's right. So we discussed about the religions or beliefs. There are spiritualists, because spiritualists in spiritualism, but Kardec used the word spiritist, not to exactly to distinguish the spiritist doctrine, and not to, in a sense, yeah, that's what I understood, to distinguish and to make itself understood as one, even though it shares so many things similar to others, but to demonstrate its peculiarities, to be on its own, in a sense, because not to get confused by the others, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Hi, Liz.
Hi, everyone. Spiritualists, they tend to believe, in spirit, but not necessarily in reincarnation, and definitely not as much as spiritists, as far as everything, beyond the veil. And but they do practice in mediumship, but not as thoroughly, and sometimes not even as safely as spiritists. Sometimes kind of pushing people forward a bit too soon. But of all the isms, shall we say, Spiritism kind of incorporates the most regarding spirit and things that, occur, and the knowledge, which as well, in credit to spiritists and spiritism, they do insist on study, and that is absolutely fundamental to practicing anything that we do.
Mm-hmm. During this time that I was off, and
Sorry?
During the time that I was off, and I was not in vacation,
Yeah.
I had an experience, among others, that was interesting. I had a sister on board that was talking about what she felt was right, her impression, her religion, her beliefs. And through her discussion with a few other people, I was on the same table, I've been dragged into this, I could see mediumship in things that she was describing, although she describes with a different name. I've seen at least 4 different situations where I could describe as a mediumistic situation. But of course, she was giving another interpretation from the fact. And then she asked, "What do you think?" I said, "Oh my God, that's how I don't want. I don't want anybody to ask how I'm thinking." And then I said, "Well, the law of the universe is only one. Do you mean God?" You can say that. You can say, yes, God, the law of the universe, the constructor of the universe. You can give any description you want as far as you're happy with. So the mechanism is the same. Doesn't matter which name you decide to give. Because if he is perfect, his laws would not change depending on people's perception. Would you agree with me? And the person started to be like, oh, well. By the questions I did, I could see the person start to be uncomfortable already. On the end, I said, well, I'll stop here. I think if what you believe make you feel comfortable, happy, fulfilled, that's it. You are on the right path. Why I'm saying that? It doesn't matter if I am spiritualist, spiritist, atheist, any ist you may decide to call. What is important is to become spiritualized. Because the spirit is everywhere. The spirit is present on the spiritualist, on the spiritism, on the Christians, everywhere. They may interpret things in a different way, but the base of everything is the spirit. And even when they do not say so, the continuation of life. And that continuation of life is interpreted in so many different ways. We spiritists see in a way, somebody else may see in a different way, totally different. But deep inside, most of beings believe there is something else. Or is a minority that affirm that there is nothing else after death. Are we so different than the spiritualist? No. Are we so different than the Christians or any other religion, creed you may decide to name it? No. Do we have different practices? Yes. We have different practices. Sometimes not even well understood by ourselves. Sometimes the practices we do try to be formatted in fears, in lack of study, in the wrong experiences. So what is important is to get spiritualized. What does it mean to get better as a people, as eternal spirits that we are? In this conversation with that lady that she was trying to describe the whole Bible, I said to her, well, I don't know that. I don't know anything. But the only thing I know is that if we have done 2 things written in the 10 commandments, we would be in a better world. Doesn't matter what you believe. What do you mean? Well, There are two things. If you do, you would be in a better place. One of them is related to God. One of them is related to our neighbors. So if you're being a bit more attentive to those two items, we would be in a better place. So spiritualists, they have different activities, even different beliefs, but the law is only one. The physics behind the phenomena is only one. The difference is the glasses we are using. I may use the glass of spiritism. I may use another glass of spiritualism. I may use a different glass. And then when I change my glass, I change my perception. Or what I want to see drives my perception in a different direction. But the law is the same. So we should not see anybody else or anybody from a different belief in a different way. And Kardec says that spiritism can be something complementary to any belief because it is a philosophy. And if we bring that philosophy into what anything we may believe, is a plus. What we often see is people trying to bring their belief, their past religion, their past philosophy, their past experiences to spiritism. Then this is something else. So now, as you started very well today, I'll start to read a bit. So then we can perhaps share more opinions, more experiences. The spiritualist, that which is related to spiritualism, a follower of spiritualism, however, wants to believe that we do not consist only of matter, is a spiritualist. In that sentence, Kardec is saying basically that anyone that believes in something after death is a spiritualist. Every spiritist is necessarily a spiritualist. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
But one can be a spiritualist without being spiritist. The materialist is neither. So we, or those who call themselves spiritists, they are spiritualists because we believe in something after death. We believe in the spirit. Sometimes some religions believe in something after death. They do not name it spirit, but it's the same thing, doesn't matter. The materialist, the true materialist, they don't have any notion of spirit, soul, anything. For them, everything we do is a consequence of a chemical reaction. But even some atheists, they believe in the spirit. They believe, atheists and materialists are a bit different. One may say the spiritualist philosophy, a work written using spiritualist ideas, spirit manifestations are produced by the action of spirits upon matter. The spiritist morality derives from the teaching of the spirits. I would go even further. The morality taught by the spirits coming from one place, comes from Jesus, what he taught. what he is amplifying. There are spiritualists who scoff at Spiritist beliefs. In such cases, replacing the word spiritualist with the word spiritist would produce obvious confusion. And I've seen this many times where people swap the words and start to be a bit complicated. Even on spiritist books, the authors, they mix sometimes what is spiritism, what is spiritualism, things like that, because they are entangled. Both are entangled. But for the sake of clarity, if we are writing a spiritist book, we should be a bit careful not to mix, not to create more doubt in the people that may be reading. Stereotype, from the Greek stereos, solid. Quality of tangible apparitions. Do we have a stereotype ourselves? A spiritist has a stereotype. What do you think?
Yes, yesterday, I should raise my hand, shouldn't I?
No, don't need to.
Sorry about that. Yesterday, someone spoke about an example that someone they knew said to them, but I thought spiritists should be good people and should do this and this and this and this, like they wouldn't be normal people with the difficulties. Maybe other stereotypes could be that everybody would have some kind of communication with the spiritual world.
It's very easy to identify stereotype on others, not in ourselves. And if we are amongst people that have the same beliefs, same actions, same stereotype, we don't see that thing. We do not perceive that we have some characteristics. But people from outside that group, from outside that belief, from outside those practices, they may find something that they can say, well, he looks like this, he looks like that. No? We are very eager to identify those stereotypes in other beliefs. I won't say any, but I'm pretty sure we all have means, creativity to identify things in others, right? But sometimes we don't have to find in ourselves, but we do, because we have common practices that become a routine to us that does not say anything to others. Typta, from the Greek tupto, I strike. The quality of mediums skillful at communications through typology. A typological medium. So I don't think there is anything to comment here. Typology, communication by means of raps, a mode of spirit communications, alphabetical typology. So through our study, we discuss about raps, how the phenomena is produced. Does anyone have any question about how this phenomena is produced? You guys are very shy today. So, Munia, can you move a bit the page, please? I don't see. Is that the end of the book, Munia?
Yes, yes, yeah.
At the very end.
The very end.
Good. I'm here on the end then. So,
We were supposed to end last week, but we got stuck in spiritualism, spiritist, and so on. So waiting for you to come back, you see.
Hi, Sila.
Hi, welcome back. Since it's the end of the book, I want to just say one thing, and we talk about typo, right? I wonder if with the progress of technology and everything, will be some kind of mediunic, you know how people out of writing, or if it's gonna be something like, because we use our mobiles, we'll go direct to typing in the mobiles or something like that, because that would be a progression, isn't it? Probably it's not there yet.
It happens already.
It does? See, I didn't know that.
There are mediums that they transcribe the communication directly into instruments, i.e. computers. So we don't need to write with a pen and paper anymore. It does happen. But actually, it could have happened decades ago. The problem is the people. People believing that's not possible. People not understanding how the phenomena works. If you understand how the mediumship communication works, and if you accept all the possibilities that may come with, why not? I know a few mediums that they do, and you're saving time. It's one of the things. You adding the information in a way that you can easily work afterwards. You can correct, you can do better, So there's no reason why not. So, but depending to whom you ask with, ooh, you sent something very wrong. But I would remind people to study a bit how the phenomena works and to open their minds a bit. Hi, Munia.
Good morning, everyone. Hi, Guilherme. No, just, to remind us of the instrumental transcommunication, where, as you said, mediumship is done through instruments. And it's quite advanced compared to a couple of decades ago. It's just that we don't hear every day, we don't get in touch that often, but it's becoming more and more sophisticated. As we advance in scientific knowledge, our instruments are more, sensitive. Then we manage to use instruments to communicate with spirits. And the other thing I want to say is we need to divide things in compartments so that we can understand them better. But mediumship, there are so many variations of mediumship, subtleties, but for us in a writing medium, we have the impression that writing medium, they all work in the same way. And so, it's basically a whole new world that we are just beginning to discover, to find out. And as we develop ourselves spiritually and intellectually speaking, new nuances will start to be seen in mediumship. But if we have to classify the phenomenon, that's because we need to understand that.
Yeah, Munia, something you said always make me think like, how will be mediumship in 50 years' time? How the mediumship will be? Which characteristics a medium that's not born yet will have? When we become face to face with a different type of mediumship, what we spiritists we are prepared to do? Are we planning to put them in a box so nobody sees, nobody understands, nobody study? Because that's not the way we do. Or are we prepared to embrace what is new, learn with what is new, and then move on? Because Kardec, when he started with the tips, things moving A, B, C, D. And if he was not prepared to accept that a human being could hold a pen and start writing direct into a piece of paper, perhaps it would be on the Ouija until today, or A, B, you see? But thankfully, he was not. His mind was open. He had a scientific mind. Before he accepted anything, he had to test to prove there was something behind it. The mechanism was real. But are we spiritists nowadays willing to? Because 60 years ago, almost 60 years ago, when books like No Solar, Astral Seating, and others came to light, a lot of spiritists, they tear their hair apart. They were not prepared to accept what André Luiz was bringing to us. And surprisingly, like 2 years ago or something, I saw a lecture of someone really saying that he does not believe in anything like that. That can't be right. That was wrong. So if it was wrong, the spirit was wrong and the medium was wrong. Which one was wrong? You know? So how do we see ourselves in 20 years' time? Because things are developing quite fast nowadays, technologically speaking, scientifically speaking. The younger generations are here already, bringing different characteristics. And people that work with teenagers, with infants in the school, they can advocate for that, saying that they are different, and they are different, the way they see, the way they reflect, the way they do things. We that have contact with youngsters, we see that their sensibility is different, their mediumship is different. So what are we going to do? We're going to send all of them to asylum? Or we're going to embrace the possibility to learn with them? Because we have the basis already. Kardec, he did the pavement for us. There's a lot of information to allow us to be comfortable to help those new mediums, the new generation, to come and to be welcomed instead of being put in a box. I have two hands. I don't know which one was first, so I'll choose the one that does not speak a lot. Camila, how are you doing?
Okay, I'm fine. Nice to see you again. I have a question because you told about the mediumship in the computer or in the mobile, right? Then in this case, would not be mechanical, right? It would be more the thought came to the medium, and then the medium writes.
There are at least two things there. First one, transcommunication. Transcommunication happens directly from the spirit through the instrument. Computer, recording. This is transcommunication. To have that phenomena, we need medium of physical effects in the vicinity or nearby to allow that to happen. To the point that when some mediums leave the group that perform that kind of study, sometimes the phenomenon stops because the medium who was donating fluids to allow that to happen is no longer there. This is one thing, right? And I know a group in Paris that do a marvelous work in that line, right? So there are groups that do that kind of research, serious research. You know, they do recordings, they do all sort of things to promote that venue of communication and technology. So there is a directly information from the spirit to the instrument, right? And there is another way that we also spoken here, is that the medium, instead of writing a piece of paper, you use the keyboard. That's something else. No? I've heard about that first time, something like 10 years ago. I said, very good. After that, In one of our meetings, a medium asked me, do you see any problem if I start to type directly? I said, not at all. But to make that kind of jump and be comfortable with that kind of jump, we need to understand how things works.
But then the medium that you did directly in the computer, because usually we close the eyes, right, to try to have a better connection. So then the medium stay with the open eyes and reading in the same time, or is closed as well? How that works? I'm curious.
Let me start to answer your question with questions. How do a medium do a psychography? Do they keep his eye open or closed?
I think usually it's closed, right?
Not always.
Not always.
Not always. When you do have a psychophony, do you give a psychophony with open eyes or closed eyes?
I'm too flawed, right? I'm not a good example, but if all the communications for I be able to to have the focus, I need to close my eyes, because if I sing, I have less concentration.
But is this a rule?
No, I think it has people more involved than I, for sure. For sure.
I don't think it's a matter of the person being evolved or not. No, it's different. Every person is different. The mechanism is the same if you have open eyes or closed eyes.
Yeah, it has manifestations, right? Because if we see something sometimes or have a communication that we are normal, right? We are open eyes, whatever, right? So yeah, we
So I know mediums, for instance, that they keep their eye open, but sometimes their vision change during communication. Sometimes it's like, I don't need a glass anymore. I can see everything without glasses during that communication. You know? So there are tremendous possibilities. What we should not be focusing is to create rules, formatted rules, that when something different comes in front of us, we deny because we create rules or someone create rules for us. We need to keep our freedom of think, our freedom to consider possibilities open. And then we learn with the process.
maybe we create some rules for ourselves as well, which maybe block our development, right? Because we think that we need to do things in a way.
Most of us, we do. I can only give communication. I can only participate in a spiritist meeting, in a mediumship meeting at night. This is fake. This is not true. We know it's not true. But I've heard many, many times mediums saying that no, mediumship meeting has to be when we don't have a sunlight. I heard that before. No. If it was that medium who created that rule or someone create for him, I don't know. But I heard that before. And this is lack of studying the true phenomena, because it can happen anywhere in any situation, you know. So following the sequence here. Hi, Cleo.
Hello. It's just a very quick comment about writing the computer and using the computer, not just writing. I can't see much difference from writing with a pen or write on the keyboard, for example. If you write what someone is telling you to write, that's the way I can see. And one of the biggest differences that I think is because when we used to write letters, we don't write letters anymore. We used to sign, and usually when you write a letter, from the spiritual world. For example, some people, they say, can you sign in exactly the same way as the person give the message used to sign before? And I find that in the computer, you can't do a signature. I mean, nowadays with technology is different. Maybe you can. But I think that for me, that is one of the biggest difference from jumping from write with a pen and write on the keyboard. And also the way that the person used to write before as well. So you could identify by analyze the previous write and the writing that you have done now. But if you write in the computer, then those two analyses are out of the way. It's just 2 points that comes to my mind, that's all.
Yeah, I hear you. Good point. But how can you be sure that you will sign exactly as the person signed? How will you be sure that your letter is exactly the same as the person letter? Because it depends on the medium. There are mediums who have the sensibility to the point that will copy exactly the same handwriting. But there are mediums that do not have that sensibility, and if they try to do so, the handwriting and the signature won't be equal. But the spirit is there, is the right spirit. But because of the instrument, that is the medium, does not have the same sensibility or does not have that degree of sensibility, will not be able to. So, yeah, I hear your point, but I don't think that is a minus to use any other way of writing, you know. But as ever, I'm not saying that's you, Cleo, but as ever, people will offer resistance for changes. I'm bet Kardec, he suffered a lot when he tried to get mediums to using the pen and the paper instead of using the basket, instead of using the Ouija, because possibly his entourage, the people around him, was saying to him, no, 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 don't do that, don't do that, you know. And luckily, he did not listen to them.
Let just want to add, I don't want to jump the queue, but just to add that there are different variations. For instance, writing mediums, they can be mechanical, semi-mechanical, inspirational, going back to the computer. If you are mechanical, yes, perhaps your handwriting will be similar to the spirit and your signature as well. But semi-mechanical and inspirational, especially inspirational, there's no trace of, or sign of the spirit's handwriting. And it's easier to use the computer, going back to Camilla's question. You are, your eyes open, you are there typing, it's just that the ideas are coming through and you are, putting down the computer, if it's just inspirational. If it's semi-mechanical, you're already halfway between, mechanical and inspirational. If it is mechanical, then the medium is not aware, maybe even be somewhere else, and the spirit is using the phenomenon to type directly on the computer through the medium's hands, of course, without the medium even being aware of that.
In any of the situations, Munir, what is important is the evaluation of the content of the message. Yeah. Because I know the way Munir talks, I know the way Munir writes, I know Munir for 100 years. So I know this, yes, this is his message. The way he's written, the way is Munir. You will recognize the author of the message because the way he's written, not by the letter is written. So this is the kind of thing that Kardec always says to us, to evaluate the content of the message, right? Hi, Osoli.
Hi. So I am here again. Last week, it was impossible to say to Arthur couldn't be together here because it was very, very quick things and happened. and but now I am good, good. And thank you very much, God. I speak Swedish good. And I would like to know about this word. Is stereo here is stereotito på portugisiska, and in English I think is stereotito. I know stereotypo. This is I know stereotypo. This is a kind of a model for things or thinking or philosophy. This stereotypo. But stereotito, T-I-T-O. Oh, in English, I don't have. I try. See through the Webster. Oi, sorry. I didn't sign me.
Munia?
No, I try to see in this website, but
Yeah.
I didn't write. I didn't. I would like to know better because I know what is, but I know it means the same here. I don't know what is this. What is the stereotito? Stereotito.
You want me to share the book, Amy? Yeah.
Yes, please.
In English,
And then-
English, what you say in English? Stereotito. What did you say in English? Because sorry, I don't have a book in English, Medium's book.
First, let me identify which word you're talking about in the book, and then we'll try.
This is the French, Guilherme.
The third last
That's,
one.
I think the doubt comes from the word in French is this one here. And in English, it is a stereotype.
Stereotype, thank you. And what did you say? What does mean this quality disapparition? This is in French. But in English, but
In English, the meaning is the same. Quality
the
of tangible
same.
apparitions,
Quality
solids.
of-
Yeah.
okay, so this means quality of apparition. Okay, because though is stereotype. Type. Ah, now I wake it. It was a wrong printed. Why? Sorry. It was wrong printed. Sorry. So
That's
now
okay.
I know stereotype in Swedish, in English, in Portuguese, stereotypo. So and I know what it means. What is this? Thank you.
All right then. Hi, Roger.
Hi. There's just one quick comment, talking about hands, what am I saying? Hands being raised. Talking about eyes being open and closed. Painters, medium painters will often paint a whole painting with their eyes closed and produce the most incredible paintings.
I personally know very little about painting, mediumistic painting, but the phenomena is the same because they don't need to see with their own eyes to do anything.
No, I've actually watched. I've watched. I spent a whole morning watching somebody. I can't remember the chap's name. I've just been looking up, trying to find his name.
Florencio Anton. Yeah.
Yeah.
Florencio. Yeah.
It's wonderful.
And spent the whole morning, and he painted a painting every something like half an hour, and he was producing sort of things that looked like they were from the sort of top painters of the world. And Lolita bought one. She bought this wonderful So, oh, I can't think of the saints now. Keep thinking of St. Patrick, and it's not St. Patrick. You're not there, Lolita, are you?
And Francis of Assisi.
Francis of
Francis.
Assisi.
Yeah. Absolutely wonderful painting. And he did it in half an hour, and the whole painting with his eyes closed. Now, how do you do that? How do you do any of it?
Yeah, we can
at
see the
all?
painting. Yeah, very nice.
Oh, she's showing it, is she?
Yeah, she is. Very nice.
And it's just amazing that he could do even a square, and yet he did a whole painting.
Very good.
So, you know, how does anyone do anything like that with their eyes closed?
Interesting, isn't it? The phenomena is the same. The mediumistic phenomena is the same. Those may have the ability to paint, some to write, some to sing. Who knows? But it's very interesting.
Yeah, make sculptures. I've seen once a medium, taking a lump of clay and making beautiful sculpture with his eyes closed. So, yeah, it's the same as Guilherme said, so, and in this case, with eye closed, it's mechanical. So,
Before you jump for the others, I just would like to share about this thing that Roger said, right? My good father did many of these as well, the paints. He shared that because they need to be mechanical, right? Because the spirit needs to have the ability to, unless you are a painter, unless you have this ability, right? To have the image and the code, right? But he told that he felt the spirit like embracing him when he do the job, right? So he felt like the spirit take the control and embracing him.
There are some writers that describe this as a super incorporation, that the medium lose temporarily the entire physical control. So, hi, Liz.
Hi there. I just want to go back to inspirational writing and my own experience over the last few weeks. It just so happened that, I'm working on info packs for my scientific spiritual commune that I'm setting up in the UK. And it just so happened that it was Wednesdays, like this last Wednesday and the Wednesday before that I was working on these info packs, minimum 5 to 8 hours, intensively, nonstop. I got so much inspiration. I got so much help that when I look back, I thought I had the knowledge, but I could never put it together so well. And the focus was so intense that Munir can vouch for me. I missed both spiritual studies, and I never do that. I didn't even acknowledge that I had, even though it's in my diary, at 2 o'clock on a Wednesday, the spiritist meeting. I was that focused, and I'm really pleased. I know that I'm getting a lot of help from above for this commune, which will be practicing spiritism and doing all the studies and everything, and to the public as well. But yeah, I was absolutely, so grateful, but also I achieved so much work in even though it was 10 hours, that was a short space of time. And it was imperative really, that, it was concise, to the point, and short, because I do tend to waffle a bit. And this one wasn't. So I'm very grateful.
Very nice. Very nice. Hi, Asali.
About Florence, Denmark, Copenhagen, some years ago, and I was there the first time I saw his works and his orkin, and I sat the first third, right, and with the how do I say, director of a Spiritus movement in Sweden, and I think I just have money. I love money. Oh, Father, I hope now is money. He answered. It was him there, and he said, "Praise Soto." He said, "Yes, I like too much my picture too." So, he heard me. This is another quality. You talked about quality of this fantastic big mediums, because he heard it and he heard me and he answered me my thank you, my thought. This is wonderful. I said, good, he heard me. So it is, and I bought one because to help this Florence.
In this case, it's not the spirit that he heard you, not the medium. Or I don't know.
No, it was. It was why it was wonderful, because Florence was started there, but I didn't know. At now it was one monet. So I said, I got many pictures already. I said, oh God, I hope now it's one Monet. I love Monet. And so, and you so, and to my saw to me and said, I need to, I take, I said it, love, but he said, I thank you very much my pictures. So it was so lovely when he answered me. He heard me, I heard my thank you, because I think I did said, no, I think, I hope
Very nice.
it's wonderful.
So now I would like to use this last few minutes to hear from you guys. If would you like to make any comment about this study we have done so far? If there is anything that you would like to see a bit different, or the line is with you guys. I'll start with Munir, and then it's open to everyone to make comments, observations, how you see fit.
I'd like to make a comment, and it's about the recording, because not everybody gets to start at the beginning. They'll come in the middle. But at the moment, we don't have the capability of actually having all the recordings in chronological order for people to be able to find, and that's really important. I would definitely be relying on them, because I'll be putting everybody through that program, hopefully, and other ones, but there's no chronologies. I missed one meeting, and I wanted to catch up, and I couldn't find the recording.
You could not find on the YouTube?
The very date that we'd just done. Yeah.
On the YouTube, you have two options. One that is a recording online, one for the videos. Normally, even when they are not online all the time, we save on the YouTube the video that is recorded on the computer, and then you upload afterwards. But they may not be perfect.
Yeah, they're not in order, and there are some missing. I was wondering whether it's possible to put it in some, easy identifiable chronology.
Yeah, it's something that we can try. We can try.
It'll help so many other people that can't attend the meetings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the objective is for the person to be in the study. And if you have all that organized, the person may decide not to be on the study. So then we're going to be losing the opportunity to be with us. but I hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, because they might work on Saturdays, and it's better that they follow it rather than nothing at all.
It's a way to see things. Yes, I agree with you. Yeah, cool. Hi, Camila.
I wanted to make a question. I don't know for you all think, right? Because we started the book again, right? For me, it's amazing. Then I thought, I don't know if you think that's nice or not. In that other group that is the spirit book, because it is forever spirit book as well. Like, what they do is like 1 weekend per month, they choose a topic and study that topic to bring something outside, right? So I would like to share just, I don't know, to give ideas.
If anybody wants to do like that, I have nothing against it. But me personally, I won't have an opportunity to do so because my agenda is really packed. So, but if anybody is willing to do so, get organized and become responsible to do so, why not? I'm going to be speaking with Charles, Munir, and the others. But someone needs to become
Be in
responsible.
charge. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, because it's more effort, right? Because you need to find topics and the material and then share the material. What they do is share the material in the WhatsApp, and we need to read and study like in our time before.
It's a time issue. It's not
Yeah.
because we don't want to, it's a time issue. Likewise, to have everything organized in a way that may be chronological is also a time issue that may come to the equation and may not be possible.
No, I just wanted to share one idea.
No, yeah, and I'm inviting you to
It's-
become responsible for the idea.
Okay.
It's good and valid, but I see the way I see is that this particular study is about the mediums book, not a study about mediumship. And in this case, you know, my personal opinion is that since we are studying the book, we should stick to the book. If we have a group about mediumship, then you can study the mediums book, but we can also bring some, you know, other material to add on that. But my perception, since we are going through the book itself, then I'd rather stick to it.
That is very fair point. And to free my time, no, but no.
We can find extra time for that, Camila.
Any other comment?
It's not really a comment, but a question. So, do we know when we start this mediumship book over? Or do we start immediately, or do we take, I don't know, summer break and start in September?
Next week.
Next week. Okay, thank you.
Cool.
Guilherme was in break already. He was full of energy.
Yeah. So, if no one wants to say anything else, so I'm glad to see that Rafael is here already. So before we pass to Rafael to our prayer, and thank you very much to be with us during this. How many years, Munir, we're doing that now?
2.5, I think. Yeah.
So yeah, embrace ourselves for another 2.5 years again, because we're going to start everything again. So Rafael is with you.
Thank you everyone. We've reached the end of the session today, and as usual, we're going to do our special vibration. So I invite all of you to close your eyes and calm your hearts and follow me in thought as we connect to one another and we connect